What's going on? It's your boy Adam. I don't know if my lucky streak of not having to ride in the rain is coming to an end. I don't know if you can hear it, but I have to leave for my 20-mile bakery ride in about 20 minutes, give or take. Let's see. Oh, yeah, about 25 minutes. Can't wait. And well, at least that lightning strike was far enough away, and that one was far enough away I can't really hear the thunder. Every 4 seconds between the lightning and the thunder means it's a mile away. So if it's 8 seconds after you see the flash that you hear the thunder, it means it's 2 miles away. Came out of nowhere. There was no radar blobs on the map when I woke up at 5, and then around 5:30 it all just shows up. That's how it works around here in Houston. Thunderstorms just well up out of nowhere. It's not like where in Pennsylvania, when the thunderstorms, you get warning that they're coming. Usually, they don't just materialize out of nowhere and hey, it's a thunderstorm now. And even in like Florida, like in Florida, you can watch the storm clouds form. Here, it's just it'll be kind of overcast, and all of a sudden, just, oh, thunderstorm. So, there's a chance it'll stop raining before I leave. I'm looking at the radar. It's there's a chance. There have been days where it was storming like this 15 minutes before I was supposed to leave, and then I walk out the door, get on my bike, and there's no raindrops in the sky. So this wouldn't be the first time if that happens, but I'm gonna have to put my rain cover on the backpack today. I'm not feeling it today. This whole ride my bike 40 fucking miles every time I gotta go to this job it's getting old. It really is. But at the same time, it's when I'm on the bike, when I'm doing it, it doesn't bother me much at all. The worst of it is like today, Monday morning, because I just did this on Saturday and then having to do it again. But I keep applying for jobs close to where I live. I can't find shit to replace it with. And like I said, I just got shit canned for a $120,000 a year job because I have because of mean tweets. Whatever. That's what they're gonna do. But this, I mean, to be honest, I could be going to it. Would it have been this week? Huh. I'm thinking, yeah, because it was, yeah, today. Ironically, this would be the first day of work at my new job if I had to go to that job today. And if I had to take a bicycle to get there, imagine having to go to the first day of a job in an office building, having to ride 25 miles in this to get there. So, there's always a positive side to the situation, I guess. Oh, that would be stressful. That would be really stressful. Now, I would have, if I had to go, if I would have had to do that, I would have I would have tried to rent a vehicle, even if it was a U-Haul truck to get through the week. A pickup truck from U-Haul to get to work. If that's what I had to do, I would have done it. Um, there's other options out there, but um, but I would have tried to do something so I wouldn't be stuck riding in this on the first day of the job. But I don't know. Now I have to get down with this. I'm just, oh man, the time is just, the rain's easing up a little bit. The radar says that it's going to pass, but I have to be prepared that it's going to rain on and off on the way in. And I'm just tired of it, but I'm not going to complain too much. It's, I'm happy to be in this new place for sure. Got my laundry done. In fact, this morning all the clothes were dry. I had paracord zigzagging around the place. Well, you saw it in the video. Um, I was just pulling it down and putting it in I took one of the empty storage tubs to hold my clean laundry, and until I can get around to folding it, putting it away. Um, the washing machine did a really good job, I thought, for what it is. In some ways, I think it does better than a regular size washing machine. The spin cycle is so fast on that thing that the water. I think that spin cycle tub, the little spin cycle thing part of I think it spins at like 200 miles an hour or something. It's fast. If I could put that motor on my bicycle somehow, I'd get to work in 5 minutes. um, but the clothes come out pretty dry, like damp, but drier than they would be in a regular washing machine spin cycle, I think. Um, Especially these modern new washing machines that all the new washing machines, this eco bullshit, they don't wash your clothes and they don't dry your clothes. I don't know what the fuck they do, but this thing does a pretty good job for what it is. I was pretty impressed. Even though it's 4 inches too wide to fit where I want to put it, I still have a place to put it that's not ridiculously out of the way and stupid. I have to leave it. I'm probably going to have to leave it out of the way today because I think the plumber is going to come in. There's like the hot water tank has got some sort of a leak. And I'm not sure. But he came last night, and tightened up a couple of things. But it's the drain spout at the bottom of the tank has a small leak, but it sits in a pan, a drip pan, so the water shouldn't get all over the floor. Well, yesterday it was getting on the floor a little bit. And so he came over, tightened up a couple things. I didn't have the right wrench. Once again, you know, I'm not prepared for a lot of things. I don't have channel locks. I don't have a wrench that big. Tools, like I'm missing basic tools that a 49-year-old guy would already have. Just all kinds of stuff. Cooking equipment. I don't know. I'm going in and out of feeling not no bad feelings. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be out of that miserable place. But there does come, like, you just get in this, like, when you're starting over from nothing, like a tornado came through the trailer park and and just blew your whole house away and everything in it. And you're starting from zero at 48, 49 years old, starting from zero. Like, what do you do? You're supposed to be getting ready to retire at that age, not starting from zero like you're 18 years old and moving into your place for the first time. It's overwhelming at times. It really is. I'm not, don't take this the wrong way, but when I watch The Shawshank Redemption now and that old guy gets out of prison, the old guy, he starts bagging groceries and whatnot, and then he just says fuck it and kills himself. I totally get that. I get it. Like, what are you supposed to do at that age? And I guess, let's just say you've been in prison since you were like 20 years old, 18 years old, whatever, and you get out and you're like, 70 something years old bagging groceries at a grocery store. What would you do? There was a guy, I'm going to tell you this one story and then I got to get going, for sure. There was a guy in Philadelphia who, this was in the news a while back. Long, you can probably look this up. I don't know all the details, and I don't know the exact numbers, but he went to prison for murder when he was, I think he was younger than 18 years old. And he was in a prison on the outskirts of Philly. There was a state prison pretty much across the river from downtown Pittsburgh at one point. They shut it down, but up until not that long ago, it was in operation. So they do have state prisons in the cities. Anyway, he was in this prison in Philadelphia in like the early 1900s or something. Like, it was like the automobile was a new thing. There, people were still riding around in horse and buggies when he went in. Turns out he was innocent. He was innocent of the crime. And they were able to prove this, and they had to let him out. Except he was like 80 something years old, or he was old, like 80 something years old. He finally gets released. What the fuck would you do? How would you even be able to enjoy your life at that point? Like, your life is ruined. And how would you, I hope that he sued the fucking shit out of them and at least gets to live with millions of dollars in the bank and live in some sort of comfort. But what would you do in that situation? Like, how would you even be able to function? From before, from being a little kid going into this prison when the automobile was like a new thing, to coming out of the prison, looking down the same street and seeing all the skyscrapers and all the cars flying by and everybody on their cell phones and the computers and all the crazy shit. He spent 2 world wars and all kind. I mean, he spent his whole fucking life in that building. And I mean, they have TVs, and I'm sure he saw things, but you don't get access to anything when you're in that. You can watch some TV here and there, and you can read, and that's pretty much all you can do. And you can work out if you're in a place where you can work out. There's probably some sort of exercise you can get. And that pretty much covers it. And he spent, I hear the rain stopping. Like I said, birds are chirping too. That's a good sign. Maybe they know something's up. I mean, the roads are going to be wet, but hopefully I'm not. But anyway, that's where we're at. This guy, how do you come out after, 60, 70 years in a fucking prison, your entire life. And then, oh, you're just supposed to normalize back into society again. I was away for 20 months, and coming back from that, I have to start over from zero. From zero. And at least I was lucky enough to come back to some skills and some different things that I'm using in order to survive. But like, if you had, how is that supposed to happen? So in his case, he was innocent. He spent his whole life in prison for fucking nothing. I hope he absolutely took those motherfuckers to the cleaners and got at least a shit ton of money for it. That's about the best. And even then, what's he gonna do? If he can pay for a place to live and live out the rest of his life in relative comfort, so be it. How do you get a fucking driver's license when you're 80, almost 80 years old and have never fucking, like, basics? It's fucking crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. I gotta get ready to go. And I gotta get out of here. And here comes the rain again, so I don't know. I was hoping things would work out with the weather today, but it seems like it's gonna be a shitty ride. Peace out. Alright, what's up, everybody? Ooh, what a day. What a day. Oh. Oh, man. My dry spell has ended. That's for sure. Oh, my dry spell is over. But, oh, of course the sun comes back out. So, yeah. Yeah, today was the end of my dry spell. Oh, man. Oh, I'm worn out. I don't even care about riding in the rain. I mean, it's part of cycling. I'm prepared for it. I expect it will happen. It doesn't mean I have to like it. It doesn't mean I have to like it at all. But it's a part of life when you ride the bike. So if you ride a motorcycle, if you ride a bicycle, if you if you roll around in a Jeep with the top down and you left your hard top at home, the story of your life is what you saw this morning. And so, but it's, I think Jesus was just playing with me today because when I left to go to work, it wasn't downpouring, but it was raining. It was raining enough. And I was going to try and ride without my raincoat. And I get to the end of the driveway here, and I'm like, nope. I don't know what the air temperature was, but the rain was a bit cold. And I'm like, it's going to soak me. I'm going to be completely soaked through, so I'm putting on my raincoat. And that'll just help keep me warm. And it did, but I was soaked. I mean, soaked when I got to work. I have an extra change of clothes at work, underwear, socks. I've got a stash of dry underwear and socks, things like that I keep there. So I'll take replacements back with me next time I go in. But whenever I wear my bicycle shorts, I take some boxers with me anyway, to change into. And it rained the whole way into work. In some places, at some point it was downpouring, and but it was rain. It was straight up rain. It was like either a light rain, but rain, like heavy drops, or a downpour. And back and forth, but it rained. It wasn't sprinkling. It was like light rain or downpour the whole way. At some point your feet, at some point you're so wet you just don't care anymore. And But as soon as I got to the parking lot, I'm talking as soon as I got to the parking lot at work, I was just about to pull in the parking lot. The clouds parted and the sun came out. Sun. No clouds in the sky all of a sudden. Just boom. Oh, yeah. The sun. It was like it didn't rain at all. Except the roads and the parking lot were still wet. Because it was a heavy rain. And so, I mean, that was nice because I could go to get Chick-fil-A for breakfast and my paper bag wasn't. I was like, what am I going to do with a paper bag if I go get breakfast? Because it's raining so hard that I won't even make it from Chick-fil-A to the front door of where I work without my bag ripping apart and just disintegrating. What do? I could probably ask them to put it in a plastic bag. That'd be the smart thing to do. And they'd probably be fine. You know, that would be what I would do. So if that ever does happen, that's my plan. I'll just say, hey, can you put it in a plastic bag? Or it's going to be all over the parking lot. But anyway, sun came out. Nice. And then it was a bright, sunny, beautiful day. The whole day. I just kept looking outside the whole day and I'm like, this is perfect. This is great. And I looked at the radar a couple of times. One app was telling me, nothing. There's no rain anywhere around here. And the other app was telling me to expect it. And so I'm like, okay. Because thunderstorms in the tropic, this is a tropical climate. So, I mean, these things can just pop out of nowhere. Thunderstorms well up and just boom, it can go from being bright and sunny to a thunderstorm in no time at all in a place like this. So, Florida is like this. I think Florida's worse. I don't think Houston's as bad as Florida. Florida in the summer is like every day at 2:00, here comes the afternoon thunderstorm, just ba-boom, and it's like every single day. Here we're in a rainy stretch right now for sure. I would say most of the days for the last couple of weeks have been raining. I've just been really lucky that it didn't rain on the days that I really didn't want it to. Like the day I moved, no rain at all. But it was something that I was like, I was hoping it wouldn't, but definitely knew that it very well could have rained on the day I moved. The whole week was rainy. It was one of those just, as the week moved on, the forecast kept looking better and better. And when the Saturday came, it was just perfect. It was the perfect weather for the move. Didn't rain. It was bright, sunny, low humidity. It was good. It was a good day. But today, on the way home, I get on my bike. I start going home. High humidity, 90s, probably mid 90s, probably 88 to 90% humidity. I'm like, yeah, it's definitely. I could see dark clouds here and there, but it was bright and sunny. And I get on the bike and I start heading home. And so I've got a place to stop almost exactly halfway home. There's a convenience store. And I found out it's the one place I can stop before I have the electrolyte crash. If I'm gonna have an electrolyte crash, it's gonna be more than halfway home. It's gonna be when I'm about 3 to 4 miles from home on it's about a 22 mile bike ride now. So at around mile 18 or so, if it's a bright, sunny, hot day, along with everything that I did all day, my labors and the morning bike ride, if I'm gonna have an electrolyte bust and start to fall out, and it hits so hard, it hits hard and fast. Like you'll go from feeling just fine to feeling like you're gonna pass out, and like boom, like almost in the blink of an eye. So I'm trying to prevent that And so it was hot. It was like mid 90s, high humidity. I'm sweating pretty hard. So I'm like, I stopped at this convenience store. It's almost exactly halfway. If I don't stop at that convenience store, the next one is going to be like 4 miles from home, and I'm already going to feel like shit. So, pick up a couple of Gatorades, drink one right there in the parking lot. Whatever this is, 28-ounce Gatorade. Just sit in the park, like stand in the parking lot and drink a whole bottle. Throw it in the trash. The other one goes in my backpack. And I'll just bring it home. Have something to do when I get. But I've done that for a couple of rides now, and I feel just fine. Like nothing. Like, as long as you... I just have to remember to order some electrolyte tablets on Amazon, and I just need to pop one of those either right before I leave the bakery or somewhere, probably right before I leave the bakery would be a good spot to just pop one, a good electrolyte tablet, and then maybe pop one an hour later if it's really hot. That way I don't have to stop and spend money on Gatorade. But, you know, it's a nice treat, and it definitely helps. I mean, I felt nothing today, but so right before I pull into the convenience store, as I'm heading towards home, it's bright and sunny, but in the direction of home, the clouds are dark, and I'm like, I don't know about this. So as I cross Spring Creek coming towards home, which is a little bit after Spring Creek is about halfway. No more sun. It's cloudy now. And I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. I see a couple of lightning strikes way off in the distance. In fact, they were so far away that I never heard the thunder. Or no, it was 2 miles away because it was 8 seconds. It was 8 seconds between the the lightning flash and a little bit of thunder rolling through. And I'm like, all right, it's 2 miles away. Well, right as I get to the convenience store where I'm about to get the Gatorade, I see a lightning bolt right in front of me, just plain as day. Pa-pow! And it's like not even 2 seconds. Boom! So that means it was like half a mile away, but it's not raining yet. But the big lightning streak came down from the sky about half a mile down, it looked like it hit the middle of the road, half a mile in front of me. And I'm like, yeah, that seems like a good sign. It's time to stop and get some Gatorade. So I stopped, got some Gatorade. I had to take out some cash from the ATM. I found a really good deal on a TV, and the guy's gonna bring it to my house. And the clamp to mount the TV to my wire shelving unit is $25. So I'm just gonna cross that off my house, my I don't know what I'm gonna call it. I call it the shotgun house list, but my house beautification project, my comfortable home project. I get to cross one more thing off, and I'm actually going to save money over what it was initially going to cost, so it's going to bring my total budget down under $2,000. But I really can't afford to spend more money. I shouldn't even be doing this, but I did the math last week, and I'm okay. But everything's tight. But when you move, this is the shit that happens. But it would be nice to just be able to chill and watch a movie or something. Just feel like a normal, like a home. I haven't done this. I mean, when I was at my friend's house, so my friend had multiple TVs in his house, and they had a big giant, like, freaking 150-foot long television in the living room or whatever, just this big giant thing. You could probably see it from 2 miles away. It was like watching a Jumbotron at the stadium. They have a backyard patio with a pergola, and they have a projection screen that they pull down, and they've got a projector in the back so we could sit out back and watch games. Mostly would sit out back and watch games, soccer matches, football games, things like that, in the evenings and stuff. They're really cool setting, really nice. Got a little fire. I wouldn't call it. Wasn't like a chimenea, but it was like, a backyard patio fire thing, to keep it nice and contained and not ridiculous, like a fireplace, a backyard fireplace. I wouldn't call it a pit, but it was a nice little, fire set. Custom made wooden they made all the furniture themselves. Everything out in that back patio is all like 2x4 furniture. They've done a lot of really cool. They made a king size bed frame out of 2x4s. They've made all kinds of furniture out of 2x4s. He's got a miter saw on a special stand in the garage, so they can just be like, and they just make all kinds of shit with 2x4s. And they get plans, they get ideas, they watch YouTube and stuff, and they just jam on it. They get a weekend, they get a little project together. They just like, hey, look, we built a couch. Hey, look, we built some chairs. And they got a really cool thing going in their backyard. And then when I was living there, they have a loft up above, like on the second floor. And there's that was where I have my computer workspace, and the bedroom was up there. And there was a decent sized TV, I don't know, probably like, 50 feet wide or something, not that big, but a big but smaller big. I would call it a huge TV if I was getting one. I wouldn't get a TV that big for this place, but it was like a decent size, smaller than the one downstairs, but still big. And I could just chill up there. They had a little couch. I could just sit there and watch movies and chill. And like I had some, I have a little. So my Bose headphones, they're old, but I have a little Bluetooth adapter because these headphones that I have, my good Bose headphones, I bought them back in like the mid 2010s, like probably around 2014. And so, like, I got corded headphones back then. I didn't want Bluetooth headphones because of the batteries and all that. But I have a little adapter, a little Bluetooth adapter for those. And so I just sit there with these soundproof, the noise-canceling headphones and just watch TV. But I could get really good sound, but silent, so it wasn't bothering anybody else in the house. And so I could just sit there and chill and watch movies and stuff. And so I haven't been able to just chill and like watch a movie or something since then. And so that's been months. And I look on Facebook Marketplace because I've got the list of what I want to do to the house. And if I see something that's a really good deal, bargain hunting, and the fact that this guy's he's gonna bring it over tomorrow. Like, I don't even have to leave the house. So I'm like, I'm not even going to haggle the guy on the price. It's a 43-inch HD TV. It's not 4K. It's 1080p, but it's nice. I looked it up. I looked at I saw the photos he took of it and all this stuff. But he, what was I going to say? I saw the YouTube reviews of this television, and it's a nice TV for the price. And I can use it as an extra computer monitor if I really want to. So it'll have multiple uses. I might be able to put a laptop on a stand. I don't know, whatever. It's got apps. It's an Android TV, so you can run Android apps on it. So all the TV, Plex and Netflix and all that kind of shit you can have access to. So if you don't know what Plex is, it's Plex is where you can set up your own media server. and you can set up your own. It's basically like you can set up your own Netflix and then watch your own shit on your TV. And you can share your library with other people and stuff like that. So, and it's a handy little system. Definitely a cool thing to have. So I'm going to cross that off the list. I've got a bathtub full of soaking wet clothes. There was a little bit of a leak from the water heater. They came last night. It happened yesterday, and they came last night and fixed it. This landlord's Johnny on the spot. If something's wrong, all I got to do is send him a text. He's like, I'll be right there. I mean, like, last night, he was like, no, I'll be right there. Like, I was like, you mean tonight? He's like, yeah, we'll be over. Give me 5 minutes. It's like, fuck. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I had the zigzag ghetto clotheslines all hung up around the house while I'm like, don't mind, I'm drying my clothes, sorry. If I knew you were coming. So everybody had to like duck and weave and dodge and dip and get around all the wet clothes that were hanging up on the lines. And now I'm going to have to do it again tonight. Or maybe tomorrow morning. I don't know. I'm not feeling it right now, but I'm definitely going to have to do a load of laundry tomorrow. I've got towels that are wet, and I've got soaking wet clothes. And I've got enough to do at least one, maybe two freaking loads in that little washing machine. But that thing's already coming in handy. That thing is already saved the day. If I didn't get that thing last weekend, I'd be feeling it right now. So I have no regrets at all about getting that thing. If I didn't have that washing machine right now, I'd be like, oh, I've got this whole pile of dirty clothes, and now I've got this whole bathtub full of soaking wet clothes that need to be washed, or, like, no problem. No problem right now. I can just, boom, wash it. So that's awesome. I'm so glad I did that. I'm not in the biggest hurry to get the dryer. But I definitely want to do it. The nice thing about this washing machine is it's got a separate bin where you wash the clothes on one side and you dry them and you spin cycle on the other. And the spin cycle is smaller than the wash bin. It's a nice little design, to tell you the truth. It's perfect for like a dorm or a small apartment, or you could use this thing in an RV. You could set it up somewhere outside and use it, because you basically fill it with your, whatever. You can just dump buckets of water in it to fill it up. And then there's a knob to drain it. It's like a manual, every step of the cycle you have to initiate yourself. So you fill it with water, you turn a knob for a timer, and it washes the clothes, and it agitates them. And it does a good job. I think it does a better job washing than a regular washing machine. I swear it kicks ass. But then when you put the clothes in this little... I'll show you some video of it. I'll do a review of this thing after I've used it for a bit. Just to throw another video review of this thing. But so far, I'm digging it. And I'm actually, like... Even though the size is too big to fit in the space I wanted to put it, I'm glad I got the bigger one. But had I measured it out, I would have bought the smaller one, just to fit it exactly in the space I had planned for it. But the plumber is going to think... He was talking about coming over and draining the hot water tank. And So I don't know. They may have to they may replace it, or they may have to do something to it. I don't know. It's weird. Something's going on with it. But it's, not my problem, and it's hot. The water's hot, so I'm not, whatever. I got hot water. I can take a hot bath right now if I want. So it ain't no thing. But if they come and drain the hot water tank, we might be able to move it. All I got to do, I got to get like 4 or 5 inches. I just got to move it 4 or 5 inches somehow. But it's going to take some finagling, but it can be done. And then I can fit the washing machine when I'm not using it. You pick it up and move it. It weighs like, I don't think the thing even weighs more than 20 pounds. It's not heavy at all. But when I'm not using it, but when I'm not, right now, like I have to put it sideways and I have to just change the orientation of it. And it's not horrible when it doesn't really, the bathroom's a little bit cramped, and the smaller washing machine would have fit perfect in the space. In fact, it would have fit so perfect I might even be able to run the thing without having to put it in the bathtub, but I feel safer putting it in the bathtub just because if any water leaks or, I feel safer just putting it in the bathtub to use it because it's just guaranteed that no water is going to get all over the floor. But it's a sweet little setup. The spin cycle thing spins super fast. You don't put a lot of clothes in it at one time. So you do a load of laundry on the left side, and then you can put about half the stuff in the spin cycle side, but the spin cycle only goes for 5 minutes. You set a timer, and it just goes, and it spins like, I swear to God, that thing spins 200 miles an hour. It's crazy. And when it stops spinning, you can pull the clothes out, and the synthetic shirts, synthetic running shorts, all my synthetic clothing is almost bone dry when it comes out of that spin cycle. Cotton is damp, but it's drier coming out of this little tiny washing machine than when your regular size washing machine finishes the spin cycle. It's just, normally you got a dryer right next to your washer, so you're just, put it in the dryer, turn the knob, walk away, done. So this is a little more work. But if I get the portable dryer that I want to get, each little load out of the spin cycle can go in the dryer, and I think the dryer would only take 20 minutes to dry the stuff if I just did it in that way. And I may be able to do I don't know, I'd have to see how it works, but I could get into a rhythm on a Sunday or like on a day where I'm just going to be home all day, where I do some laundry, I do a load. Every time I do the spin cycle thing, bring it over, throw it in the dryer, and if it's literally a 1-to-1 ratio where I take the stuff out of the spinner, put it in the dryer, wait till it's dry, and do the next one, and just keep doing that. It would only take an afternoon to get it all done. It really wouldn't take a whole lot longer than what a regular washing machine would do. You just have to get up and do more stuff more frequently. But time-wise, it's really not that bad. 15 minutes for the agitation cycle and 5 minutes for each spin cycle. So 15, 20, you're looking at like 20 minutes to do a load of laundry, washing it. That's about what a regular washing machine takes, maybe sometimes longer. So you're looking at about 20 minutes there. And then the dryer that just plugs into a standard 110 outlet. I forget what temperature they get up to, but people give them good reviews. It's not going to be as hot and crazy as a regular dryer, but when you combine the fact that the clothes are coming out of this washing machine like very just damp. They're not wet. They're not sopping wet at all when they come out of that spinner. So I think that would be a good system. But for now, I'll just hang shit up. And I'll maybe, at some point, if it's going to be a nice, like if it's going to be a nice hot day, dry, sunny hot day. I don't know though. I don't have clothespins, and I don't know. It wouldn't take long for the clothes to dry hanging on a line outside though. It would take less than an hour. Out in the hot sun, it would happen fast. So I don't know. I might come up with a system to do it that way, so I don't have to do it all ghetto style, like look like a New York City tenement slum during the Great Depression. Like you saw in the 1920s, where you just got clotheslines zigging and zagging back across the freaking alleyways. But yeah, this thing was pretty dope for what it cost, and but I don't know. Maybe, if I start doing these product review videos, that'll get traction on YouTube just for people who want to see how this stuff works. But I want to use it for a bit. I'm not just going to do a lot of these people will just buy something and they'll open up the box and they'll talk about the thing, like whatever it is. I see all these product review videos where that's all people do. They open up the box and they show you the thing. Oh, this is what it is. All right, look at that. And then that fucking video is over and it's like, well, does it work? How is it? Like, all you're showing me is what I'm gonna see when I open the box. I already saw that shit. I saw the pictures on Amazon. Like, I want to know, like, does the thing work? Is it good quality? Is it gonna fall apart in a month? People just do shit like that to get clicks on their videos. And it's like, I want to see an actual review. Like, I've got a water bottle, Camelback stainless steel water bottle for my bicycle. I can do a thorough product review on that thing. I give it about 3 stars. I'm going to do a 5-star system. I give it 3 stars. Sometimes I want to give it 2 stars. I can never give it more than 3. But I've been using that water bottle since, I think I bought it in October. And I take my coffee to work in that thing every day. And there's a ton of problems with it, but there's a ton of good things about it. And it's kind of like, I think I've just settled on giving it 3 stars. I'll put a link in the description, and I'll talk about it. But I mean, that thing's beat up. Like, it's been used. I can give a very thorough review on that thing, all the good and bad about it, and possibly just steer somebody. I'm like, for the price, I probably should have got a cheaper bottle, but I don't know if the cheaper ones, it's kind of one of those things. But I could do a video. I could do a review on that. There's a lot of stuff I could do a product review on. That things that I've purchased a while back that I've been using, and I can be very thorough. Things I like and things I don't like. So we'll just, I think that's a big thing. That's one of the things I'm going to start working on for this channel. As I get deeper into this, as I get settled into my new place. But today, I leave Gatorade. I leave the store. I leave the convenience store. And I'm like, the clouds are looking darker ahead. I'm halfway home. I better put the rain cover on my backpack just in case. I pull out of the parking lot. and the pitter patter of water starts hitting the pavement. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go. And up to this point, I was thinking today, I really haven't dealt with a lot of road rage. I haven't dealt with a lot of road rage on the roads in the last week or two. And I shouldn't have had that thought, because holy fuck. As soon as that thought crossed my mind, it was like all the scumbags of Houston all came out at once. I think I had about 12 road rage incidents on my way home during the last 10 miles of the bike ride today. I mean, it was just horrendous. But it was raining really hard, and I'm not even going to go through all of the road rage. It was bad. Bad. And so it was pouring rain. It turned into like a real rain, like heavy rain. But I was like, whatever at this point. I'm going to get wet. I didn't even care. Didn't care today. And just started to ride home and dealt with the assholes and all the road rage and everything. And it didn't stop raining. Didn't stop raining the entire way. I had some of my Amazon groceries. I ordered toilet paper, laundry soap, and paper towels. The paper towels are coming tomorrow. But I was like, oh, please don't tell me my toilet paper is all soaking wet. It survived. The box was completely soaked, but none of the water got inside the box. So that was good. That was one thing I was worried about. If I end up, getting certain groceries, Amazon always seems to like to deliver stuff when I'm not here. But it was fine. I wasn't even thinking about the weather yesterday when I did this. I'll be a little more conscious about trying not to have these things delivered when I'm not here. Especially paper towels and stuff like that. Like, wouldn't that suck if I got a big thing of brawny paper towels and they've already soaked up all the water because it was a torrential downpour and they sat outside all day. That would be a sad day. Because I'm down to like maybe 2 more rips on my paper towel roll, and that's my last roll for a bit. I was down to my last roll of toilet paper, but I probably got enough to get through most of the week. It's a big roll, but it just kind of, I don't know, the rain was crappy all the way the last 10 miles of home, but I picked up a bunch of tools. I'm literally going to have to go buy a toolbox, a tool bag just for the tools I pick up on the side of the road. Hold on, I'll be right back. Oh. Here we go. I don't always show you the tools that I pick up as I bike to and from work, but I'm telling you, almost every time I get on my bike and I go, hold on a second, here we go. Almost every time I go on these bike rides to and from this job, I'm picking up tools on the side of the road. Sometimes they're not in the best of shape and they do get a little beat up from, being on the road. But I got myself a nice set of pliers, with a cutter. I'm telling you, some of these tools come in handy that I've already picked up. Got myself an adjustable wrench today that was on the side of the road just waiting for me to pick up. Some of these need, they'll clean up fairly nice. I'm going to put all these crappy tools in their own toolbox. They're not going to be my main tools. It's just going to be like an overflow bag of tools. Socket. What do we got here? 14 millimeter socket. Well, come in handy. And I got this wrench. That's pretty handy. That's a pretty handy wrench. I don't even know what sizes they are. I don't think it even, I don't know. It's a little beat up. It's hard to read what sizes they are, but these are fine. Like, these will work. These are tools that'll work and they'll clean up. So, I mean, I've already started putting the tools that I pick up on the side of the road in their own place. I've got 3 tool bags now. And one of the bags is kind of like one of them's my cycling tools and all of my nicest wrenches and all that stuff. And then I've got another tool bag, two smaller tool bags. And one of them is where I just, all the tools I'm picking up on the side of the road, I just throw them in there. If I get a wire brush, if I ever get an electric wire brush, like a grinding wheel on one side and a wire brush on the other, or some sort of, not an angle grinder, but like a rotary tool or something like that, that's a little bit, it's got a disc sander or something like that. You can get wire brushes for them. And I can clean up these tools with a wire brush in no time flat. Polish them up. They'll have some nicks and scratches and marks on them and stuff, but I think it's hilarious that I'm going to fill a toolbox. There's so many, every day I'm picking up tools off the side of the road. I'm like, oh, there's a nice wrench. Oh, there's a pair of pliers. Look at that. Almost brand new. Sometimes they are almost brand new. I just picked up, is that lock sitting here? I showed you, I picked up a master lock the other day, and the thing still had the keys in it. A padlock, brand new padlock, was just laying in the road. I'm like, oh, got myself a lock. Cool. But anyway. Oh, please tell me. Okay, that didn't come on. Okay. So anyway, I think it's just hilarious. I mean, that's one of the funny things about riding a bike is that you'll see things like that. And it's like, all right, I'll pull over and pick it. It's like, I gotta stop and I gotta get, I gotta lose my rhythm and whatnot. But I've made a pact with myself. If I see something good on the side of the road, I'm gonna grab it. Why not? It's like a bonus. It's like a prize. It's like the prize in the bottom of the Cracker Jack box. You know what I'm saying? It's like the prize in the bottom of the Captain Crunch box. It's like if I'm gonna ride my bike to work and back. Oh, I got a free wrench today. Oh, I got what I was hoping for last night. I could have fixed the thing that was wrong with the water heater myself, but I didn't have a pair of channel locks, slip joint pliers that open up really wide. And I didn't have an adjustable wrench that would fit this big thing that I needed to turn to tighten something, and water was leaking out onto the floor. And so somebody came over and fixed it, but I didn't even have to call anybody. I could have fixed it myself if I had a set of channel locks or a large enough adjustable wrench or even a fixed wrench the right size. And, I would have had all this stuff at my old workshop back at my old house. I had everything. I had all kinds of crazy shit. I didn't have like everything that you would need to do auto mechanics or a wood shop. I didn't have tons and tons of power tools, but I had tools. I had drawers full of tools in my workshop. I had a workbench with 6 drawers and toolboxes and pegboards covered in tools. I would have been. There wasn't anything. I really never ran across any situation that I couldn't fix at my house. I had a box of power outlets, 3-prong power outlets. There was a plumbing and electrical supply store called Keystone Hardware in Pittsburgh. And when I was in college, I had to replace an outlet in the house. Or we had all these 2-prong outlets, and we needed 3-prong outlets. And so they had these boxes of outlets, dirt cheap. And so I bought this big ass box of power outlets. And I'm telling you, this was when I was like 18 years old. I bought this box. I don't know how many of these things were in this box, but I'm not kidding. A box of light switches and a box of power outlets, 3-prong, 2-outlet things. And when I was 48 years old, I'm still pulling power outlets out of that box to fix shorted out power outlets around the house. I never ran out. I bought them when I was 18 years old, and I never ran out of fucking power outlets. That's how many I bought them in bulk. They were so cheap, and they were nice. They were good, and I was able to fix every place I ever lived. Anytime an outlet went bad, I was like, "Oh, I'll fix it." Like 10 minutes later, here we go. It's all done. We're good. And it was insane. Or if there was an outlet in a house that I moved into and it didn't work, I could test. I had the tools to test to see if the line was active, to see if there was a hot wire. And I'm like, oh, it's just a bad outlet. Swap it out. Boom, we got an outlet. Now we got a working outlet. That's what I think I'm going to have to do here. But I'm going to have to go get outlets. But I have to get a tester. Because it just sucks. I'm 49 years old, and I'm starting completely over. And it's like I just run into things day after day after day. Basic shit. Like not having the right wrench to tighten up a thing on the water heater and the drip pan. All I would have needed to do is if I had channel locks, turn, I could have just been like, all right, don't need to call the landlord. And it sucks, because it's just one thing after the next. I'm in the kitchen, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have a butter dish. Oh yeah, I don't have this other thing. Oh yeah, I don't have any rags to wipe off my cast iron or my stainless steel after I season it. Oh, I don't have that. I got those today. It's just I didn't have a knife sharpener. I bought a knife. I have a Cuisinart basic bitch chef knife, the cheapest one. It was $9, and I was using it for about I was using it for like 3 months, and all of a sudden it's starting to get dull, and I'm like, crap, I don't have a knife sharpener. So I had to go get a fucking knife sharpener, and it's just all this basic shit. No, I used to have knives galore. I used to have a knife for every situation. I had special bread knives that were so sharp and so good that, like, this one knife never needed sharpening for years. I had this thing for 20 years. It never needed sharpening, this serrated bread knife, and it would just slice through bread like butter. Like, it would cut through a loaf of bread better than a razor would cut through a stick of butter. And just all these things. It just amazes me. You don't realize these things until you get in a situation and you're like, shit. But if you're in like if you're doing like life out of the RV, or if you're doing like the tiny house life, or if you're doing the living out of a vehicle lifestyle, the van life, all that, you're going to come up with more, you're going to come up with creative ways, or you got to come up with compact ways to handle these kind of situations and problems without overloading yourself with too many possessions and junk and just, things. And so that's the other thing I'm trying to balance. I don't want to be in a situation where the next time I move, I already know I'm going to need a box truck when I get out of this place, because I'm going to get a bed and a love seat, an ottoman right there. And between that and my desk and the wire shelf units, even if I take the shelf units apart, like there's enough stuff in here that would warrant, I got little washing machine now. And, there's all I've already got, but with the furniture, if I'm going to get some furniture, if I got a cargo van, it would probably all fit, but I'd have to do 2 trips with a cargo van at least. So it'll either be 2 trips with a cargo van or multiple trips or whatever, and a trip with a box truck next time I move. So I don't want to be in a situation where the house I lived in Pennsylvania, if I ever had to move out of that without, like in a reasonable fashion, not where the FBI just drove into my house with a fucking tank, took me off to prison, and people came to my house to try and clean out and salvage whatever they could, that house would have taken 3 to 4 months to move out of. If I were to find another place in the same region, it would take like 4 months to gracefully move out of that house was so packed full with stuff. Furniture in every room. Chest freezer, refrigerator, just things that I bought that you would need to probably make multiple trips with a box truck, and then 3 months of just packing boxes and moving one room at a time. And just, taking your time with it, and just being like, I'm not, that would be a fucking daunting thing to move out of a place like that in one day or one weekend or something like that. Would be a nightmare. That's almost to the level where you're hiring a moving company to do it. But I'd rather do it myself so I can, but man, I had so much camping gear, so much adventure gear, just tons of stuff. The video game collection was insane. Like, we made that place a palace. That place was a real nice place, and I don't expect I'm not going to have a place like that again. I want to be able to focus in and I want to be comfortable, but I don't want to be overburdened with all kinds of shit. This is a good size place right now this is so much better than that tiny house, but it's small enough that it's going to force me to be smart and make strategic decisions about what goes where. And once you figure it out, I'm not messing with it. So, but it's fun. It's fun. Like, this is actually fun to me to plan, to actually have like a goal. The tiny house, it was just set this thing up and do the best you can and just get through the next 6 months and, see if you can make it work. And I was making it work. I would have stayed the whole lease if it wasn't for that guy being such a douchebag. But this place is so much better. So much better. And the rent's only $50 more than what that guy wanted to charge. He is not gonna rent that place out for $900 a month. I guarantee you. I'm watching Craigslist. I know I'm gonna see that place at the end of June. It's not gonna be rented, and sometime in July he's gonna knock it down to like $800, and then it might go down to $700, But at some point, it's going to disappear off Craigslist. And then I'm going to give it 2 months, and it's going to pop back up on Craigslist back at $900. And this is what the guy's going to do. He's going to get someone to move in there for $700 a month. And he's going to let that person get comfortable for about 2 months. And then he's going to turn around and do the same thing he did to me and tell the guy, I'm raising the rent. And if you don't like, he's going to do the same fucking routine. Because that's how he can't rent the place for what he wants to get. Because for the price that he wants to get, you can do a whole lot better. I did. Look at the place I'm in now. $50 more than what he wanted me to pay for living in that fucking shack. This place kicks the living fuck out of that place. For $50 more, plus the electric. Whatever that's gonna be, we'll see. It is the hottest part of the year, so, I mean, well, I'm gonna have to run the heat during the winter too, so, I mean, whatever the electric bill is, it's probably gonna be consistent throughout the year. The spring and the fall, when I'm not using the AC or the heat, well, you know, maybe those will be the cheaper months. But once I've been here a couple of months, I'll know what that is. But either way, this place is so much nicer. So much nicer. It's cleaner. It's like a real fucking house. It's small, but it's big enough. It's just for me. I don't need anything big. If I would have found something like this, the first round that I was out looking for a place, I'd have been set. But I couldn't find shit that time. This last time I went looking for a place to live, I was finding cool places everywhere. I figured it out. I cracked the code, I guess, on how to use the tools to do a better job looking for a place here. So, when this place runs its course, or it gets to the point where I got to figure out, okay, how do I get a place that's big enough where my son could come and stay with me and have his own space and have, that's my goal. It's still my goal. But, I just couldn't make it happen this time. I had to get into I was rushed. I had to get this done. I had to get something affordable. This will do the job. It's big enough that my son could come and visit and we could set something up so we could just, it's like, it'd be like us crashing in a hotel room or something for a week or so, but it's not going to be a place that I would want, I would want him to have more of his own space if that came down to it. So, but I'm a little overwhelmed because of everything involved with this move, and but it's all good. It's every time I get a little bit done, anytime, my next project is I'm getting a TV, which that only because the deal only because I found a good deal. If I found a good deal on a love seat or a bed or something, I would make it happen. If I can I have that list. Once that list is crossed off, there's nothing else. The only things that I would be doing from there would be like cooking equipment, small things. But the big list that I made of how to plan out this space, that's not changing. Once that list is accomplished, then I'm done. My space is complete. Everything else that would happen from there is just going to be small things to, small improvements. But I have a vision for what I want to do to this space, and I want to do it sooner than later because living in a comfortable, beautiful, nice, organized space that makes you happy to be in it will make you a more productive person and put you in a better frame of mind. I've experienced this in my life so many times that it's worth the sacrifice up front to set something up like that so that 3 to 6 months down the road, you're more productive. My house out in the Amish country in Pennsylvania, that was the prime example. When I moved out there, it was daunting. Just getting the internet squared away and getting my office set up cost. Oh my God, it was so ridiculous how many times I had to order something or do something or whatever, and I was just getting by off the skin of my ass, showing up to the Zoom meetings at work and stuff with a spotty internet and just all this. It was so ridiculous. Just getting the internet squared away was so ridiculous. I never thought it would be as complicated as it was, but I had to get all these repeaters and antennas, and I just kept having to work at it. And for a while, I had rooms that had nothing in it. The sunroom had absolutely nothing in it for probably 2 years. It was just an empty room. It was like, oh, it's cool. Put a couple camp chairs out there once in a while, and a lot of times I just had it as storage. It was like I was just working on one thing at a time, but there was so much to do, and every now and then I just, okay, this is the room, we're gonna do everything we want to do to this room and make it perfect, and then we'll do another room another day, and but that living in that place is when my career took off. I was doing okay, but when I moved out there, for whatever reason, it put me in such a state of mind that I became a bit of a workaholic, and not in a bad way, but I had good life balance, but I really focused in on my career and went and like more than doubled what I was making in a year within a couple of years, and was making I was financially doing better than I'd ever done in my life, but it only lasted a couple of years before the shit went down. And unfortunately, those couple of years were the fucking COVID scam and all this bullshit that pretty much ripped our lives apart and kind of like ruined all of our plans. And so I know from experience, it's not the first time I've experienced this. There was another house I lived in. Long story short, I moved in with a girl, and it was a really cool house. Things didn't work out with her. When she moved out, I was going to move out, but then one day I was like, you know what? I'm not going to move out. I'm going to turn this space into the best space I can make it, and turn it into a beautiful office and all this, and I did all this stuff, and all of a sudden things started to take off in their own way back then. Not in the same way but that the Amish country house did, but it was a major stepping stone in life. And it really started the day I got serious and turned my house into like a beautiful like palace kind of, I would never want to be anywhere but my own place kind of a thing. Like, I really like being home because my home is so awesome. And every time I've ever done that with my home and focused on making it as awesome as I could make it, with whatever budget, whatever creativity, whatever I have to do to make it happen as quickly as I can do it, every time I've ever focused in and made my home as awesome as I can make it, it has turned around and made my life and my career and the level of income that I make and just all these things just start to happen. And they're kind of like in sync with each other. Frank Lloyd Wright, the architect who built Fallingwater and all of these famous buildings, the Johnson Wax building, the Guggenheim Museum, Taliesin out in Arizona. There's so many places that are famous that this guy built. And He even built houses for the common man. It's called the Usonian style house. And there's examples of those all over America in different places. Now they're, museum pieces, but it was it was Frank Lloyd Wright's version of a trailer park home, but he did it different, and it was way cool. But his whole philosophy is if you make your home a comfortable, aesthetically pleasing place that makes you feel good, then your life will be good. Your everything in your life will be better. And I totally believe that. I mean, there's no reason I couldn't have been an architect or, something along those lines. I mean, it's kind of the same skills. It's different. There's an engineering aspect to it and whatnot, but it's not totally different to be an architect than it is to be in graphic design and software design and all that kind of. It's still, there's an artistic side to it and there's a scientific side to it. And I would love to design my own house. I would love to design my own space, but the last time I got into like a design project like that was my travel pickup truck. And I realized that instead of turning it into a construction project where I'm going to have to buy all these tools that I don't have and spend time building and sawing and fabricating stuff, I went with like pre-built stuff and prefabricated solutions that I just cobbled together as fast as I could. And I bought the truck in the middle of February, and by the end of March, I had it completely customized in exactly the way I wanted it to be to go on these long road trips. And things would change, and it was every time I would go on a trip, and whatever problems I would come into, or whatever worked and whatever didn't work, I would make notes, take note of, and when I come home, I would make sure to spend time fixing the things that didn't work and improving the things that didn't work, and making sure that the things that did work stayed, and just always. So every time I took that pickup truck on a trip, it was better than the last time I took it on a trip. And when I started going with my ex on trips, there were certain things that she wanted to be certain comfort levels and things like that. And I wasn't opposed to it because I wanted it to be comfortable. And so, there were things that I did and we did to accommodate making it a little bit more comfortable and like making sure that in the cold weather we could stay warm, and when it's really hot out we can stay cool, and just things like that. And when it's raining, there were problems with rain, and just every time there'd be a problem, we'd have some sort of solution for the problem with us or with me. I would have a solution for the problem, but then I would be like, how can I solve this problem better the next time? Everything from having military bug nets for when first couple of times you camp down south in the middle of summer, South Carolina and below, you need to have the windows open at night. You need to have the back tailgate open and the window open. You need airflow going through there big time, and fans. And I had multiple fans mounted in the thing. So I had fans covered and I had all of that, but the best way to do that and keep yourself from going insane is to have just drape military bug net over the whole truck. Just huge, it's super easy to find. I just had 2 big ass military grade bug nets that had, I had 20 different uses for these things. But with paracord and the right thing, you can just, 10 seconds, just poof over the truck. Just throw a bug net over the truck, and it drapes over everything, and it completely keeps the bugs out for the most part. But then those bug nets could be used with the Easy Up canopies. We made bug tents. Me and my son, we had a bug tent in Florida. We had a picnic table and a canopy to keep out of the rain, and we had a bug net draped all the way around it. And if the bugs were getting bad, we could just go sit in the chairs. I could pull a cord, poof, the bug net comes down, and we got a bug tent. So we had all these different things. I had these 2 6-foot long drawers under the platform, and you could fit all kinds of crazy shit in there. And so I designed this thing over time to basically allow us to be comfortable in any situation. I had, propane tanks and, like the Coleman propane tanks, and I had a small Mr. Buddy heater that screws onto the propane tank. So in the cold of winter, then I had a place to set it to where it wasn't going to, like, you really weren't, I mean, yeah, you're kind of like, you're sleeping on top of a big thing of gasoline, and you really don't want to catch the back of your pickup truck on fire when you're, sleeping on top of a big giant, 20-gallon tub of gasoline. You gotta think these things through a little bit. But these Mr. Buddy heaters, the catalytic ones, are pretty damn safe. And if you do knock one over, it's going to shut off. It's going to shut off instantaneously. And, but they're warm. That thing would keep the damn truck warm at night. But, and then there was like, you get some of them Zippo, you get the Zippo hand warmers going. You throw those in under the blankets in your sleeping bag and whatnot. There's tons of different ways to stay warm that don't take much effort when it's cold outside. And we got that thing down to where it was comfortable. But there's always going to be issues. There's always going to be you're never going to take something like that on 2 trips and have it be the same one trip after the next. And it's the same if you were living in an RV, and it's the same if you were living in a tiny house. You're always, you're just going to look at each problem every day or every week or every month, and you're going to be like, how can I make this better? And the better that you make your space, the better the more comfortable you make it, the more functional you make it, the more that you can relax, and the more that you can focus on what it is that you're there to do and what what you're trying to accomplish. And so I've got my office set up. I'm good to go. I got tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I've got to buckle down. I got to buckle down and start getting shit done. But when I go to take a break tomorrow, I'll go do a few, I'll do the laundry. I'll just pick a box. I'll pick a bag, dump it out. I'll take the tool area, the little workspace that I've got set up until I get my workbench, and just organize it, clean it off. I got to clean off the table so I can fold clothes. Folding clothes and getting the wire shelving units organized tomorrow is probably my biggest project. So as I'm working tomorrow, when I need to take a break, I'll probably come into the bedroom here. I'm looking at the wire shelf unit. I want to have that wire shelf unit. I want to have the shelves in the places that I want the shelves to be when that TV shows up, so that I'm not screwing around. I can just mount the TV and be, boom, done with it. And I can sit and watch a movie tomorrow night. That's my plan. So I gotta get 8 to 10 hours of freelance work done tomorrow. And in the meantime, I've got to organize my one wire shelf unit, get the shelves where I need them to be, which means I'm gonna have to fiddle with that at some point tomorrow. Take everything off the shelf, fiddle with the shelf positions, and then just start organizing stuff onto that shelf. When the TV shows up, That'll be another break where I just go and mount the TV where it needs to be mounted, get it all figured out. Okay, I'm gonna have to ghetto an extension cord to turn it on for the time being, but I'll be able to chill and watch a movie tomorrow night. I already know that I'm gonna get to do that. And so, and I'll just keep going from there. It's but it's fun. It's fun. And so I'm looking forward to this. I can see that the light is going down in the space here, and the video is probably getting grainier, and but yeah, that was today. A lot of rain, soaked. All my bicycle's still outside because I don't even want to bring it in all wet. But I think it's had enough time. It's stopped raining for a bit. It's had enough time to dry enough, and bring it in, hang it up on the rack for now, let it dry. I got to do bicycle maintenance this weekend on Sunday. Probably not going to make it to church. Maybe I'll put on a good sermon while I work on my bikes. But I got to tune up both of them. They're a little bit out of whack. And so I got to spend time doing that this weekend. But Sunday is the day for that. Figure out what day I'm going to do. I have very little groceries in the fridge. So it's overwhelming. It's definitely, I'm completely overwhelmed, but it's in a good way this time. And the last time I moved, the first month or two in the tiny house, I was a bit overwhelmed, and I was just trying to get settled in. And then right when I got settled in and I felt comfortable there, that's when the rug got ripped out from under me. But I was actually like, I remember April 3rd, I was like, okay, I finally got this place set up. It's pretty much, this is the best I can do. This is where I'm going to keep it until I move. I really wasn't planning on doing anything else. I wasn't going to change anything. I wasn't going to buy anything. I wasn't going to get different furniture. I had this chair. That was the chair. Like, everything was set. And then, boom, it wasn't. And then I had to pack up and move. And, the result was good. I'm here. It was a positive result. In the end, I won. I won in the end. But it was 2 months of nonsense and bullshit that was hard to go through. But now I'm at another level, and really the hardest two things I have in front of me right now are making sure I make rent at the, I can't go to the first of next month and be like, oh shit, I can't pay it. So I gotta just make sure that stays, I make sure I can pay that. So I gotta be careful. And then, okay, let's see if I can get that car. Let's see if I can get that car from California down here to Houston. And let's see if that would open up so much. If I can get that car in the next month and a half, by the end of July, if I can get a car by the end of July, then I can bargain hunt and deal hunt, and I can make this other than like a couple of pieces of furniture. I can do what needs to be done in this place for pennies on the dollar. If I can drive around and make things happen, I can take on more shifts at the job. I can the things that would open up. Oh, my radius of travel will go from 40 miles to hundreds of miles. And the level of effort, if I can drive to my job at the bakery instead of riding my bike, the amount of energy I would have to do other things would be amazing. And I would still ride my bike to the bakery, but I would save it for good weather. Like today, I would have drove. No way I would drive. There's no way I'd ride my bike there today. But I could take different shifts and say, well, I'll go work like next week I offered, because they're in a bit of a jam. There's a lot of people taking vacations and stuff, and so the manager asked me if I would be willing to come in on some extra days, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. It was like, because I like these people and I don't want to see them get screwed, and I don't really want to do it, but I said, you know, she usually does the schedule on Sunday, and I'm going to be like, okay, we'll talk on Saturday. Like, what day you want me to come in? Because I usually work Mondays and Saturdays now. Like, what do you need help with and what shifts? And, you know, I'll see what happens. But I gotta be careful too, because I don't want to be out riding on these crazy ass roads at night. I'm not opposed to riding my bicycle in the dark. I do it all the time. But I don't like it. I don't necessarily feel safe. But that's the update for today. I don't know. I'll probably do an update tomorrow sometime in the end of the day. I'm also going to spend some time tomorrow trying to get some more videos up. Like, just, I'm trying to pound through them so that, I don't know, maybe by Sunday, maybe by the end of the day Sunday this week. It's June 9th today. I can't even believe the month is already almost half over. I guess I've been in my place, 9 days now? 10 days, because I moved on the 31st. Today's the 9th. So I've been in this place for 10 days. That 10 days. Wow, man, I can't believe. I can't even beat myself up for what I've done or didn't do or whatever, because I've been in here for 10 days. That's not very long. So things are moving along. But it definitely has the same kind of vibe as when I moved into the tiny house, in terms of the amount of shit I'm trying to get done and out of the way, because I'll sacrifice quick. So I signed a year lease. I don't want to be 8 months into a 12-month lease and still be trying to figure out furniture and trying to figure out how to lay out my space. You know what I mean? It's like, that shit needs to be done by the end of month 2. So that 10 months go by, I'm chilling in my space and I'm not sitting here doing house projects every day. So, but I gotta balance it out with life. So, but this is way more fun than setting up a tiny space, tiny house, whatever. And so as I come up with like ideas and tips and things like that, I'll share them. And we'll go from there. But for now, I'm going to say peace out, and we'll talk again.